Hello everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for Thursday, October the 6th. I'm Dan Filgrain. On today's show, Margie Lee returns with another Art Chat segment. She will be visiting with Herb and Sheila Sklar. And volunteer manager Beth Crenshaw talks with Dave Dimick about the Pavilion Auxiliary's Bakeless Bake Sale going on now. The Walking Club is on the move again. This time they're heading to downtown Fort Myers along the historic River District, the Yacht Basin, the Courthouse, and Museum of History. Enjoy this 3 or 6 mile walk, your choice, by signing up with Jerry Bishop of Eagles Preserve at 822-5608. Walkers will meet in the administration courtyard on the island at 8 a.m. this Saturday morning. Did you know that transportation is provided to the symphony and community concerts at the Barbara B. Mann Performing Arts Hall during the 2016-2017 season? You can simply call either service desk to sign up for transportation aboard our comfy coach liner and avoid the hassle of parking. And now it's time for Art Chat. Margie Lee calls on the home of Herb and Sheila Sklar today to find out all about their artistic endeavors and to show us some of their wonderful creations. Here's Margie and the Sklars with Art Chat.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Art Chat. I'm Margie Lee, and today we're in Eagles Preserve and we're chatting with Herb and Sheila Sklar. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Now Herb, you're a pretty familiar face in the art community here at Shell Point.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Well, you're the president of the photography club.
Yes.
Correct? And you're an instructor, an
Yes.
art instructor in the academy.
I do.
And Sheila, you are also an artist, but I think it will be more of a surprise to viewers to know
Yes,
that.
I'm not quite as public as Herb is.
Right. Well, your apartment is lovely. It's filled with your lovely things. Before we talk about your art, let's talk about your backgrounds. And Herb, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, I was an art director and then a senior art director in New York City. And I looked around and I saw there weren't many people in their 40s, so I thought I'd better open my own advertising agency, which I did. And I did it a little differently. I did it in Westchester, which is about a half an hour out of Manhattan, and bought an old barn, and we had offices in a barn.
Off and running.
Off and running.
Okay.
And that was it. It was great.
Okay. And Sheila, tell us a little bit about what you did before retirement.
Not counting raising 5 children
Yes,
and maintaining
important.
a home. I was a clinical psychologist, and I had an office and I had a private practice, and I did some forensic work as an expert witness in sex abuse.
Oh, that must have
Yeah.
been
Very interesting.
challenging.
Yes.
Challenging.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
well, I want to get right to your artwork, and there's one special painting that I would like to start with. Hangs in your bedroom, so let's go take a look at that now.
Okay.
Here we are in the bedroom, and I love this painting.
Oh,
Herb.
thank you.
Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, it marked the change of our lives. This is the first painting I made after retiring. And we were no longer advertising executive and clinical psychologist. We were just the painter and the potter.
And that is the title of the painting.
Yes, it is.
This is a painting that will be in the exhibition, Ageless Creativity. I think it will be a wonderful addition in that exhibition because it says so much about ageless creativity.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this, and this one is a photograph?
It is. This whole thing was a process that just kept happening, and I just kind of went with it. This is a photograph I took of myself. Okay, and then I got into digital painting with the iPad, so I did a painting from this photograph of myself, but I printed it out on metal.
Okay, and
So
that's this.
That's this. So now there were 2 Herbs. Okay.
So when you say you did this on the iPad, what does that mean?
I literally drew it
You
on the iPad.
literally drew it on the
I'm teaching
iPad.
that class in a couple of weeks here at Shell Point.
Okay.
And but then I printed it out instead of paper. I printed it on metal.
On metal.
Yeah. And then I had another class coming up on palette knife painting, so I knew I needed a demonstration, something where I can show.
Okay.
And I figured, well, why not? I got 2 Herbs, I'll make 3. So this is not done because I want to save it for the class. But
Okay.
so I now call this the 3 Herbs.
Okay.
Herb photography, Herb digital painting, and this will be Herb palette knife acrylic on canvas.
When did you start potting?
I'd say in my early 20s. I started and then I stopped and started and stopped and continued mainly after retirement.
Okay. And obviously it's something that you really enjoy. There's a real sort of joyousness in your work, I think.
I'm glad to see that.
Here we are, Sheila, looking at the pot that you will be displaying in the Ageless Creativity exhibition. When I first walked into your apartment, this caught my eye immediately. It's such a beautiful shade to begin with. I thought at first it was celadon, but there's shades of blue in there as well.
Yes.
How did you achieve all that beautiful coloration?
You know, I'm really not responsible. It was the kiln that did it all. I sprayed, which is why it's a flat, matte kind of a finish. And as you can see, in some spaces, the clay, the finish pulled away from the clay. And then it seemed to harbor around here in this beautiful, I think it's beautiful anyway. Yeah.
And this is, we would call this a free form
Yes.
kind of pottery. So
Yes.
you shaped this with your hands, I guess. Is that?
I used a little help with
Little help.
with a mold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's just wonderful. I can see why the judges fell in love with it for the Ageless Creativity
Yeah.
exhibition. Now, there's another piece of artwork that's a little unusual in your kitchen. Let's go take a look at that.
Okay, let's go see. Talk about her. She's a blue lady, and she has her makeup on and her eyelashes done. And I enjoyed doing portraits and masks, and this is one of the masks that I especially am fond of. So we hung it up and displayed it in the house.
Again, more of your sense of whimsy is coming through
Yeah.
with this, similar to the snake.
Yeah.
And there's also a wonderful sense of whimsy in the backsplash that you created here. So let's talk about the backsplash.
Okay, let's go to the backsplash.
Now, I've never seen a backsplash quite like this at Show Point.
No, it's an original. It's an original Sheila that I had to get a special oven. It's not the typical Show Point oven because I had something that slid so you could see my tiles. And supposedly that's me, and this is my little guy, Rusty, our dog, and in the kitchen cooking up a storm. And I just love the idea of having that in the house. I painted all the tiles and then fired them, and voila.
Voila, there it is. I don't see Herb in there anywhere, but
In the kitchen? No.
which is why he's not in the painting.
Yes.
I think these are really strong images. Tell me about them.
Well, Sheila went up babysitting with for the grandchildren for a couple of days, and I had nothing to do. So I started this painting, and I finished it in 3 days. It kept me busy. But when I finished it, I said, wow, it's not complete. And when she came home, I took a picture of her, and I painted that one. Now they're complete.
It's a wonderful compliment to the painter and the potter painting. And I'm seeing, what is that signature in the corner?
Okay. Anything I do for the kids, I sign it Poppy, because that's what they call me.
Oh,
if
fun.
I'm just doing general art, I sign Herb Sklar. But if
Fun.
it has Poppy on it, it's meant to go to the kids at some
Okay,
point. And I
okay.
painted a portrait of each one of the grandchildren.
Interesting. Now, is that acrylic that we're looking at, or
These were probably oil.
probably oil?
Yeah.
And then what's the difference between oil and acrylic?
Well, the way I use it, there is no difference because I use a water-based oil. So it almost doesn't. It dries much slower, which sometimes is a real advantage. And acrylic dries very quickly, which is a disadvantage for me. So I have to put a retardant agent into the acrylic to make it dry a little slower.
Okay.
But then
Okay.
again, you move along very quickly.
Okay. And these works are also in the Ageless Creativity exhibition, I believe. And that will be in February in the Davis Art Center in downtown Fort Myers. We're going to show one final work of yours that is one of my favorites, and that will also be in the exhibition.
Okay, let's go.
This is one of my favorite portraits, Herb. Tell us the story of this little girl.
That's my granddaughter, and she was visiting, and we took her to a tea house, and we had tea, and you were allowed to put on costumes, and she picked out that hat and the bowler and the string of beads, and light was just coming in right, and I took a picture, and she had the greatest expression, and
It's a wonderful image, And for the viewers watching this, this is a painting. This is not a photograph, although the detail is so vibrant that you would almost think it's a photograph when you first see it.
It took me as much time to paint that hat as it did to paint the rest of the portrait. That I remember because that was so unusual.
Well, she looks like a very confident, self-assured young woman.
She is. She really is.
And how old is she now?
21.
Oh, okay.
21.
Well, thank you. Thank you for showing her to us. It's a wonderful image. It's a great image to end this art chat on. And
Okay.
thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
inviting us into your home.
You're welcome. Thank you.
In case you weren't aware, the Pavilion Auxiliary's annual fundraiser is underway through October 15th. It's the Bakeless Bake Sale. Board member Dave Dimick visits with Beth Crenshaw to tell her all about the bake sale, where there is no cake.
Hello, Shell Point. I'm Beth Crenshaw, volunteer manager, and today I am joined with Dave Dimick. He is here. He's a board member for the Pavilion Auxiliary, and we are going to discuss the annual Bakeless Bake Sale that is happening at the Pavilion. How are you, Dave?
I'm just fine, Beth.
So let's talk about it a little bit more.
Sure.
How long have you been with the Auxiliary, Dave?
I think this is my 5th year.
Well, let's talk about your involvement there, and maybe you can explain to us the pavilion and how the auxiliary functions there.
Sure. Let me give you first. If you consider the Shell Point Medical Complex as a complex of medical facilities to support all the residents here at Shell Point, the staff that runs the pavilion is about 200 in number.
Okay.
And we have an auxiliary that's 250 in number, so we outnumber the staff.
You do, and that's really incredible.
All volunteers and a great deal of experience among our volunteers. And they're organized into 16 committees. Those committees function in a number of different ways. We have everything from a library committee, a flower committee, a chaplain's committee, a great number of functions like that. And what supports all of those 16 committees and what they do is the funds from the Bakeless Bake Sale. The next question probably is, what in fact do we do with those funds?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
I thought you might ask that question. The funds, number one, support those 16 committees, and they have requirements that require expenditure of funds. But in addition to supporting those committees, we actually do a number of things that are suggested, and I brought along a list. We have advanced training and education for staff members. That's done through Human Resources, but it's with our funding.
Wonderful.
We have a virtual dimension program, which is something that is to train both the staff and the volunteers in the real thought process that those dementia patients have. Just to kind of summarize this, the donations that are made, if you stop and think about it, are really donations for those people who are making the donation. Because almost everybody here in Shell Point will spend 1 or 2 stays in the pavilion. And about half of those are going to spend some extended stays in the pavilion. With 219 beds and they're always full, you know that there's a demand for what goes on there. And the main reason that we're there is to make life a little better for those people that are there.
Which is great, and doing this fundraiser is such a benefit to everyone
Exactly.
that walks in that door.
Exactly, and the fundraiser is a tax-deductible donation that you're making,
That's great.
which means you can take it off your income at tax time, and it's a free donation in many respects.
Right.
So we hope that this catches on because it's a necessary thing for the pavilion, and it certainly is an improvement for the people resident there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for sharing all of that information. And I learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone else did too. So if you haven't already sent in your envelope or given your donation yet, there's still plenty of time to do that. The Bakeless Bake Sale runs October 1st through the 15th. And if you have any questions or did not receive an envelope in your mailbox, please give me a call. My number is 454-2290. Thank you so much.
And now it's time to cover all today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to today's segment of the happenings at Shell Point TV. I'm Dora Robbins.
And I'm Bev Chandley.
And we're here to tell you today about all the activities that are going on at Shell Point. We're going to start this morning at 7:15 with Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That's at the Health Club on the island. We have men's golf at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, we also have pickleball, and that's at the game court on the island. We have round-robin tennis at the tennis courts at 8. At 8:30, we have the Paddlers Club, and they're going to be taken off from the kayak storage on the island. We have shuffleboard at 9:15. At 9:30, we have current events, and that's going to be at the game room at the Woodlands. At 9:30, we have ladies match play tennis. That's at the tennis courts on the Woodlands. At 9:45, we have introduction to beginning line dancing, and that's at the Health Club on the island. And then at 10:15, we have basic line dancing. That's also at the Health Club on the island. And here's Bev to tell you about this afternoon's activities.
Thank you, Dora. At 12:45, we have Mahjong. That's played in the Library Lounge on the island. Samba, the card game, will be at the Resident Activity Center at 1:15. Also at 1:15, we have the SPOT, the Spot Play Readers Group in the Osprey Room on the island. At 1:45, we have the King's Crown Fun and Fitness class in the Community Room of King's Crown. At 2 o'clock, we have the cantata rehearsal. That'll be in the choir room of the Village Church. Also at 2 o'clock, we have the stamp ministry in the stamp room in the tunnel. The photo club will be meeting in the social center at 2:15. At 2:15, we have Grief Share. That'll be in the chapel of the Village Church. We have Ballet Fit class in the Health Club at 2:45. And at 3 o'clock, the Springs Bible Study will be going on at the Springs Private Dining Room. We have a Health Connections class, Yoga Fit. That's in the Health Club at 3:45. And at 4 o'clock, our seamstress will be in the Osprey Room for her weekly service. The Alcoholics Anonymous meeting will be in the Sable Room at the Woodlands at 4:30. And at 6:30, it's Pinnacle time. That'll be in the Library Lounge on the island. At 7 o'clock, we have Trailblazers Bible Study in the Game Room of the Woodlands, and that's our final activity for the day. Well, we're sure glad you joined us today, and we will see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday, October 6th. Tomorrow, a new class is The News from Over There. This is provided by Thomas Terrell, an international lawyer and former advisor to the United Kingdom.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is a grilled Greek chicken with cucumber salad and pilaf. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $15.95. The soup of the day is potato leek. In the Island Cafe, the sandwich special is a bacon blue cheeseburger with fries for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are ribeye with tomatoes and pesto for $19.95 or shrimp fra diavolo for $15.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and it's my privilege to serve here as the Minister of Worship and Music at the Village Church. And today, it's a privilege to come before you and tell you about the 2016-2017 Season of Praise, which is a series of inspirational concerts hosted here at the Village Church. We begin this year with a festive chorus, an orchestra, brass, and drama highlighting the 2016-17 Season of Praise. The season is about to begin as we celebrate God's continuing work of renewing and refreshing His people. As in the past, the inspirational concerts and worship celebrations are part of the ongoing ministry of the Village Church. As residents and friends join together each week for worship services, The opportunities to grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord abound and provide spiritual renewal and refreshment. Again this year, the Village Church will host a mixture of inspirational worship experiences highlighted by the concerts in the 2016-17 Season of Praise concert series. It's a great joy for us as a church to present and to partner with the guest artists to encourage and inspire us with their artistic expressions of their faith. This year, the financial resources needed to support this ministry have increased significantly, as it has been doing in recent years. And we're delighted that this year, the Alliance Development Fund has offered to partner with the Village Church to subsidize the concert series so that there will not be an increase in the cost of tickets. The Alliance Development Fund's purpose is to provide Alliance churches access to affordable financing to construct, expand, remodel facilities that support the church growth and changing ministry needs. The Alliance Development Fund's partnership with the Village Church has a similar outcome by providing funding so that the concert series can continue to encourage and inspire everyone through the ministry of sacred song. This partnership is greatly appreciated, and it's a joy for our congregation to associate with the Alliance Development Fund, along with our church family, friends, and the community. The concert series will begin on Sunday, November 13th, with the Fort Myers Symphonic Master Singers Chamber Chorus and the debut of the Master Singers City of Palms Youth Choir, presenting a festive celebration of sacred songs. These select ensembles of singers enjoy a reputation for musical excellence and are all dedicated to the performance of significant choral works as well as innovative programs. Since forming in 2001, the Master Singers have grown from a small chorus to an 80-plus voice ensemble of men, women, and youth. Under the baton of Jeff Fox and Matt Kohler, this diverse group of vocal musicians represent all walks of life: doctors, lawyers, homemakers, nurses, businessmen and women, music educators, musicians, retirees, and talented students from our city. This Christmas, the joy of the season will resonate throughout the church sanctuary as our own 100 voices of the Village Church Choir, along with the Celebration Ringers and the Southwest Florida Symphony's Festival Orchestra, present a Christmas celebration on Sunday, December 11th. This special, very festive program will feature Hal Hobson's classic arrangements, interwoven through a service of lessons and carols, addressing the major theme of God's love for us and culminating in an uplifting celebration of the joy of the season. You will not want to miss the Christmas celebration this year. As in the past, again this year, Tim Zimmerman and the King's Brass will begin the new year with an inspirational concert on Sunday, January 8th, 2017. As always, their concert will include classic hymn arrangements with a contemporary flair. The King's Brass features 3 trumpets, 3 trombones, a tuba, percussion, and keyboards. These instruments blend together to create a time of innovative worship that will be enjoyed by everyone. Secular and sacred music critics alike applaud Tim Zimmerman and the King's Brass for their concerts as being superb in every way and innovative. Everyone says they're well played and present a truly unforgettable experience. In February, the art of dance and drama will take the stage as on Thursday, February 2nd, we will welcome Ballet Magnificat as they present Deliver Us. Deliver Us is the most popular and longest touring ballet presentation that Ballet Magnificat has done. This riveting story will jump off the stage and into your life. Under the blazing Egyptian sun, within the shadows of the pyramids, the enslaved Jewish people cry out for a deliverer. One man, Moses, challenges Pharaoh and leads the people to freedom. This is a vivid, prophetic picture pointing to the Easter story and God's love for all people. In March, we have the opportunity to present a program that, as the critics say, it's refreshingly different. It's a dramatic presentation of wardrobes and rings. This is an evening with C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. This will be presented on Sunday, March 12th. C.S. Lewis, as you know, is the author of The Chronicles of Narnia, and J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings. Both Lewis and Tolkien were members, distinguished faculty members at Oxford University and participants in the literary group known as the Inklings. Their robust philosophical discourse served as an uncommon friendship that was not without its differences. Life circumstances and sometimes unsolved and unresolved disagreements forced an uncomfortable season of estrangement between these two men. In Wardrobes and Rings, we will join Jack and Tollers, as they knew each other, at Oxford's historic Eagle and Child pub for one last visit, tempered by thawing humor, confession, and reconciliation. These are remarkable lives and will be presented in memorable theater. Be sure to join us for this special dramatic presentation. And then in April, we will conclude with our Easter celebration, and on Sunday, Easter Sunday, April 16th, that morning worship service celebration will include internationally acclaimed tenor soloist Stuart Neal. His singing has been hailed by critics as stunning, virtuoso, fiery, and astonishing, all for the glory of God. Through his successful performances in the world's finest opera houses and concert halls with leading conductors and orchestra, Stuart Neal has established himself as one of the most important tenors in the classical singing world. In the evening, his concert of praise will feature Stuart singing classic hymns, sacred arias, and art songs. It'll be a very spectacular celebration of the joy of Easter expressed in song. The Village Church is pleased to again present this inspirational Season of Praise concert series, and we sincerely appreciate the financial support that the Alliance Development Fund provides, which allows us to keep the price of tickets at a minimal cost. All concerts require the purchase of a non-refundable $10 ticket, and tickets will be available at the church office beginning Monday, October 3rd, and are also available at our website, www.shellpoint.org, Season of Praise. For more information, don't hesitate. Call us at the church office, 239-454-2147. It's going to be a wonderful concert series, the Season of Praise. Be sure to get your tickets and join us as we celebrate God's goodness throughout this season and into the new year.
And that will bring today's program to a close for Thursday, October 6th. On tomorrow's show, we will meet a unique and interesting creature here at Shell Point that's lived to be the crabby old age of over 40 years. And we will recap the top stories from this week. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Thursday, October 6th. I'm Dan Philgreen, and on behalf of everyone here at SPTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you here again tomorrow.